FTI community, I am so amped for this one. So amped. We have someone who is one of my closest friends on planet Earth. He is an incredible photographer who has shot at least 50 concerts for dozens of artists across Ontario. He not only takes magnificent photos, but he also pushes those around him to flourish in their respective creative field or just in life. He is a creative director who has brought so many ideas to life, like the relaunch concert, FTI's holiday campaign, Warden Watch, Heard Garden Varieties coming up. I don't know anything about it, but I won't spoil it. He has been a part of FTI since before FTI was even a concept or a platform. He is a level 43 Pokemon Go player, which we'll get into great detail about.
Am I allowed to curse?
Dude, you're so good. Okay. He is a very well-known and loved individual in the Guelph art scene. And as I mentioned, he's one of my closest friends and my go-to photographer. He is Stefano, a.k.a. Hometown Shooter. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Hell yes.
I've had a wonderful day so far.
What was on the agenda today? What did you accomplish?
My new puppy got to meet my aunt's new puppy. So they had a little play date. So we drove to Guelph. And they got along super well. So it was super cute. If you follow me on Instagram, expect to see a video or something, I'm sure. Although it might have been posted a little while ago, depending on when this gets posted.
But the dog gets posted almost daily on the story, so there's always.
Yeah, you're right. At this point, I should just start her own kind of Instagram.
Man, I remember there was especially in high school, our friends would make Instagrams for their animals and stuff, but they would be talking woof woof, and I'm just what is going on there? You gotta.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say you gotta switch it up, and it has to be dog photography. So all the photos are taken by the dog.
Oh, dude, that would actually, on a genuine note, that would actually be a cool kind of thing to do. I don't know, because basically when it comes to doing something like that, you'd have to find a way that the viewer knows that it's the dog's perspective. So I wonder how you would do that. Maybe you got the tongue kind of kicking from the bottom corner across the screen or something. And you see kind of the grass and you're looking up at the human or something. I don't know. We'll workshop it. We'll get it going. Funded by FTI.
It's always at a certain level too. Every photo is.
The perspective. Maybe we could give details. Be like, this was Cookie, the teacup Yorkie, taking a picture of her dad.
Oh my God. You've heard of people of New York, but have you heard of dogs in Guelph and surrounding areas?
I'm just saying.
Where do we even start? I feel like every time I talk to somebody, I always go to the beginning, because with a lot of the guests, when I do research, I go to the beginning of what they've posted online. But sure. I've known you since I was 13. So the beginning for me is way different than the beginning on Instagram for many others.
Certainly.
You've always had an eye for photography. You've always had a creative vision for what's in front of you. And you've also pushed people to be better than they are today. Whether it's band photography, brand photography, nature shots, or even being involved in the skate culture, you have a wide range of what you want to shoot and what you're motivated and inspired by. Especially as the self-proclaimed full-time people enjoyer, it's really hard not to watch someone's face light up when you're talked about or when you're even in the room. But, and that's a strong but, for the people who do not know the man behind the lens, introduce us to Stefano.
Ooh. That's a very tough question. I feel I suppose like anyone in life, I've gone through quite an evolution to be the person that I am today, with many wrongdoings and ups and downs and all that jazz, and being a human. So my name is Stefano. I was born in Milan, Italy, which I feel like most people I feel like if you're involved in my life in a significant enough degree, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but you probably know that. But if you don't, I got a tattoo on the back of my arm to remind you.
Made in Italy.
But I grew up in Guelph, so like I moved to Canada when I was like under a year old. Let's say 11 months. I have a terrible memory. I genuinely don't remember. But grew up in Guelph. In terms of like, I guess to connect what I'm doing now to my past, I started kind of taking pictures when I was maybe like 11 or 12, something like that. Like my parents got me, I think I don't know the brand off the top of my head. It might be Xenox, like with an X. I I might be right. I might be right. I haven't thought about it in quite some time. But I basically just went around and took pictures at my school. I have this idea, and like it's probably not going to be posted by the time I post or this goes up. But I do have an idea I'd like to do at some point where I show my old pictures and then try and recreate them, but like I don't know, like better, or some of them are really cringy, so maybe there's like no saving them. But it's I don't know. It was very much in the era of Tumblr and like wanting to take a picture and throw up a like meaningful quote or something to like try to evoke some sort of emotion or something. But it was I don't know. It was early workings. I've since taken a lot better pictures.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so I've been taking pictures for quite some time. Otherwise, music's a big part of my life. Not that I play any, but I just love all music. I don't know what I would do without it. In all sorts of genres, I'm very open. In terms of music, I'm always willing to listen to anything, kind of thing. I enjoy finding out why people listen to certain music. I find personally that like a music kind of is very emotional, or in a way, or like helps me to feel the emotions I want to feel, or whatever you want to say. But some people just I don't know. Some people like it down to a technical thing. I don't know any of that stuff. So, but yeah, music, skateboard, snowboard, and yeah, I don't know. And then yeah, photography right now is kind of my main shtick. My main shtick.
You're really expanding your horizon, because I remember we've talked about how you want to like specifically be for like bands, and like you'd like to kind of like be like the touring photographer, but you've really opened up to like taking like new challenges on, whether it's Ursula in the medium, whether it's like FTI work, like brand work that we'll talk about with Warden Watch. You're not really stuck in like one center place. You like kind of pushing your own limits to see what you can take from your other fields, and like I guess like translating them into like a brand photography shot. What I want to actually say is it's really cool that you had that idea of taking your old photos and recreating them, because if there was people in those photos too, you could even recreate it with those people to see like where they are now and like how you'd recreate it with them.
Sure. Yeah, most definitely. And I don't know if I'll ever do it. We'll see. But it like genuinely has been something that I've thought about before. So we'll see. We'll see. But that is a very interesting perspective. Yeah, they would be older now. Maybe that makes them better in the end. Now that I have like a beginning and an end kind of thing. Maybe did I just like unlock the thing because I took some cringy pictures when I was like 13?
Yo, from
But
dog
then I recreate
photography
them now in the like more professional setting. And dude, you guys have been sleeping on this, bro. It's been up here. It's been going this entire time.
Let's hone in on music really quick, and I apologize if I butcher any of these names. I won't do the first few because I know them, of course. But we got Excuse Me, we got Animal Boy, Shebad, Sermon, Wolfang Fist, Bruiserweight, Quan, Terry Green, Sunsetter, Met, Ethereal, Tomb, Burner, The Last Ramada, and that is only a quarter of the places you've been to shoot for artists that I just named. You've been front row shooting for them. You've been in the green room shooting for them. And what's really fascinating is the approach that you take to make each show kind of like fit the musician's style, but it really works well with your overall portfolio, especially your black and white shots. Taking it back to the beginning, take us to your beginning days of like shooting for bands. Do you have like an opening story where you're like, I want to do this for the foreseeable future?
A few of the bands that and it's mostly because I know it was from the same set, and I talked to Animal Boy, Strawberry Cough. I can't remember who else was on the bill, but it was at Jimmy Jazz. It was probably one of the first shows that I shot in Guelph, because it basically, like, me getting into concert photography was kind of just like a jump. Like, honestly, I was going to a show in Hamilton to see my buddy Jeremy's band. It was at Corktown, and so I was just going to go see Jeremy's band because I had checked out their music and I enjoyed it. Wanted to go see them live, and I happened to just bring my camera, just cause I was like, whatever, like. And honestly, as soon as I started taking the pictures, I was like, that looks fucking cool.
This is it.
That looks very cool. Like, it makes, and still to this day, like, a lot of it. So this is a bit of a secret. All right.
All right.
Between you, me, and the FTI community. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
I'm gonna be coming out with some marketing material because I have to. Right.
Understood. Yes.
I'm an artist in today's world, trying to live in this crazy economy. My kind of branding is basically that I make my friends look cool. That's
very much so.
That's my slogan, let's say.
I love that slogan
because I genuinely feel like everyone that I work with, like, becomes a friend, and like I enjoy the creative collaboration, and that's why I've considered myself a creative director as well, because like I don't want, I'll take the pictures, sure, but I also, like, I love having a hand in hearing an idea someone has and throwing a spin on it, or trying to not make it better by any means, but almost try to help them express it better. Yeah, like really give depth to something, and kind of create some art that's more than just kind of a simple picture kind of deal.
Yes, I agree with that.
So yeah, that's kind of my thing. I enjoy making my friends look cool, and I continue. I have that feeling still to this day, whether I'm taking pictures of my friends' watches, or shooting a band, or taking pictures of like a friend's dog or something. Like or clients, any of these. But like I said, they're all basically friends at the end of the day. So yeah, it's a really fun. It's a really fun thing to be able to do. And yeah.
Do you have any like concerts that you credit as, like, doesn't have to be the first one, of course, like the Frantic Lullabies, but do you have any like shows that like you credit for being the foundation of really taking it seriously and running with it?
No, I don't think so. I think I just, like, I enjoyed the ability to make kind of people look as cool as I see them, I guess. And so, like, because for the longest time, like, I did so much stuff, and like I don't regret anything I've ever done, but like I did so much stuff for free, just making friends. And like oftentimes, someone would be like, because I'd show up at any show that I was allowed to with a camera, and I'd take pictures of every band, whether I knew them or I didn't. And so I just networked and met so many people, and joined so many different communities, and it's honestly, it's beautiful because, dude, if I go to like any show in Ontario, I feel like there's a chance that I see people that I know. Just because, like,
1,000%.
Well, when I started, I was in the kind of like indie alt rock kind of scene, and then I dove headfirst into the hardcore scene, and I've always been into any type of music. So whether it's Hillside and I'm like listening to some like super hippie jazz, or even like someone playing an instrument from Africa or something, like it's beautiful. And I feel like, especially Guelph, like Guelph's got a warm place in my heart. I love Guelph. I love seeing people. It's
Which type of show do you kind of prefer to shoot for? Like, if it's like a hardcore show per se, do you kind of get more amped, or if it's like maybe like a rock show?
That's a good question. I suppose it kind of comes with the different shows in a way. So like I wouldn't, it's hard to explain, because I wouldn't say that I prefer to go to either. like I enjoy both for different reasons, but
Yes.
naturally hardcore shows are going to be more energetic and like there's a lot more going on. Like you throw a fisheye on with a flash and people are spin kicking and you're catching their foot as it's coming across. Like it's really hard to beat, and there's nothing against any concerts. Like I'll sit down and I'll listen to someone just play a piano, man. Like but I enjoy it all for different reasons. You know what I mean? And so when it comes to energy, absolutely, not absolutely, I'd say majority of the time hardcore is going to beat out rock and roll. But or rock in general rather. But yeah.
What I really find fascinating, and I genuinely don't know if I would survive at one, is like when it's like a hardcore show and like the stage is just a random spot on the floor, because the whole idea is just like kicking, letting all your energy out, kind of moshing. Yeah. Like Nikki and I have a joke when Animal Boy does like their encore, which the name is slipping my mind, where basically they just and like Tommy's always like, I give you guys permission to go crazy. Yeah. I'm hugging the wall, man. Like I'm like I can't do this. Sure. Yeah, so as absolutely. A photographer, you can really capture everything. Whereas if you're on like a formal audience with the stage in front of you, you only have so much working room and so much wiggle room. Yeah. Where an open concept gives you like an abundance of ideas. Totally.
Yeah, and like it comes with consequences sometimes. Like I've gotten some kicks to the head and like hits to my camera. Like honestly, for the most part, if someone hits me, and granted, like at a hardcore event, if you're in or near the pit, I don't want to say you're not allowed to complain if you get hit or something, but
you're signing up for it.
You're kind of signing up for it. I often will tell people, if they're not involved in hardcore, that it's essentially consensual violence, and you're not allowed to complain. There was it's kind of crazy, but I have an example. I was at a show in London yesterday, and a guy got pushed during a mosh and whatnot, and he turned around and pushed the person that pushed him. But then after he pushed that person, he continued to follow him and push him like further. Yeah. And there was a lot of people that weren't gonna have it. Let's say. Yeah. And people that aren't like actively involved in hardcore like will learn quick in a way. Like people won't put up with stuff. Like you can't. Yeah, you can be just upset for no that reason. You can be upset that you got hit, but to retaliate and do stuff like that is never welcome. Like I don't think I could. It's fun. And you sorry to interrupt you, but you explained it perfectly in terms of like it's people getting their energy out. That's what it comes down to, is people releasing that energy. And a lot of the times, if you break down the lyrics in hardcore music, like a lot of them have meaning to them, and oftentimes come from like personal things people have gone through. And it's a cool thing to be a part of.
I think if I were to ever work up the courage to go up be at one, I would still be at like the furthest way back. So I'm like, I'm going to experience this like I'm watching it online, because I know the moment I get anywhere close, I'm in that.
You know what? I'd say like anyone would be safe to go to one. I'd say give yourself. So if they're because basically at a hardcore show, there's always going to be a pit, and it's typically like a horseshoe kind of. Yeah. Sometimes it'll be shallower if there's a lot of people, whatever. But there's always areas for people to dance and mosh and whatnot. I'd say give yourself like a 2 to 3 person cushion between the edge of the pit and where you're standing, so that if people do get thrown or like people do side to sides, then you have a cushion before the kind of kinetic energy pushes through everyone into you, kind of thing. But be mindful of what's next to you. If it's people, that's okay. If it's a wall, swap to the other side, go to the back. You always gotta be on your toes.
From moshing with a group full of people that you've probably just met or have only seen a handful of times, to something that I find so fascinating that you do is your nature and your everyday photography. Like, for example, when you're at a punk rock flea market, the photos you have on display are just like your daily commutes captured. Like cows, villages, barns, cars, people living their everyday life. It's like your camera's attached to your hip, and like you're not necessarily looking for the shot that day, but whatever's in front of you, you're gonna like, oh, that'd be really nice. So I'm gonna capture that. Talk to the FTI community about what sparks those random moments in your day to shoot what's in front of you. Are these usually on daily adventures, or do you set yourself up with a mission by the time you get home?
I never, because like when it comes to like doing street photography and just like general, because like you're right, because like it ends up being, you know, landscapes and sometimes I don't know, other forms or genres of photography, but it's very much so just like kind of daily, like just whatever I'm seeing kind of thing. And so I guess the one thing that people maybe wouldn't realize right away is like the amount of pictures that I take. Yes. Because I take a lot and I pick a few kind of thing. I oftentimes, like when it comes to concert stuff, you know, let's say I've agreed to send a band 20 pictures minimum or something like that. I'm almost always sending bands like 40 or something, because like I truly struggle to like how do I be like, oh, I know that I have this cool picture of this person, but they've only paid me for this amount of photos, so I'm gonna leave that one out. Like, no,
you're not
like
seeing this one.
So like any ones that like to a degree, you know, sometimes I have to look and be like, you know what, this picture is cooler than this picture, and just, you know, whatever. But it's, yeah, why would I hold on to that? And like what good am I gonna sell the pictures to someone else or something? Or like, I don't know, I've never done prints of bands because like, I don't know, there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know. Maybe one day we'll see.
That would be a very, like, I guess, like, unique concept to like buy a shot of a band at your table, and like the band is not a part of that event in any way. Like if it's like if it's maybe like an AC/DC or like an old band,
Sure.
But like,
well, there's nothing wrong with that, and like it's not that like I have popular bands that I've taken pictures of that I could probably sell, but like I don't know, and I've even looked into it legally. Like I'm almost certain that I'm allowed to, and maybe I'm wrong. Actually, now that I'm saying this, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say this, because honestly I could be wrong. I'm not going to talk about what I don't know.
Happy anniversary, FTI community! Come check this out.
There I am!
Crazy. Love it.
I really want to know, like, especially like when you're taking photos on like in a rural area, or I guess just like on the side of the road where it's like a fruit stand, or like it's a farm with their family staying out the front. Do you tell the people like, hey, can I take a photo of you, or do you just kind of do it and drive off?
So the thing with the pictures that I imagine you're referencing, because like I've only released some pictures out like, you know, in farm country and stuff like that, up towards where my parents are living right now and whatnot. Those were all taken like while driving. So not as far as I'm aware, because like sometimes people will see that I'm taking their picture. I don't like to post pictures with people's faces in them.
Yep.
Very often. I also do kind of even like sometimes when you're seeing a picture of someone, you know, out in their daily life doing something that maybe stands out, that's, I don't know, has some sort of something to catch your attention to it. It's kind of cool when like their identity's kind of hidden. You know, I often like the idea of a person from the back and their head's kind of turned, so sure you can kind of see what they're doing, but you have no idea who they are, and you just have to interpret it for what it is. So no, I typically, sorry, to answer the question, I typically don't ask people to take their pictures. I thankfully, because I've kind of gotten a bit sneaky. So like, here's my camera. All right, I'll unplug it because I was uploading pictures earlier. I've developed sneaky ways of shooting. You know, I'm down here shooting like this, or you know, gripping it off the side while I'm walking past someone when they're sitting, kind of thing, or shooting backwards, whatever. And so it's just, yeah, it's that. And so like oftentimes the pictures, you know, like I don't exactly know what I'm aiming at. So sometimes I'm cutting the person's head off and the picture's a dud. Like, and maybe I do decide to walk past them one more time and try to get it again. Or I don't know. Sometimes it can be risky. I don't want to intrude on people. I don't want to, it's nothing about, yeah, it's more than them. I don't necessarily want to know anything personally about them or expose anything personally about them. It's just, I just love people, and I think everyone is interesting in their own regard and in their own experiences. And so it's more about just seeing like humans in a way. Like everyone is just a human living their life as best they know at the end of the day. And
what draws me to your photography a lot, and it's kind of similar to Jasmine, the previous creator of the week we had, is just like
fantastic photographer, by the way.
Incredible photographer. You guys both have like that. You really make the viewer feel like they're there, if that makes sense. Like I know sometimes like the idea of photography is to like really kind of like give FOMO to the viewer, but
Sure.
you do it in a way. Like for a perfect example, I know when the photos are shared of the DJ potluck, that's going to look like it was the hottest event in Guelph in 2025. And you were doing exactly that. You're like, boom, 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 up top, boom. And like, I just know how it's going to come out.
It's fun. Like that's kind of just like, you know, that's personal. Like it's a friend's event kind of thing. It's just like fun to do, especially just for memory's sake and whatnot. So yeah, I'm very like, for an example, I shot some pictures at my brother's wedding last summer. And it was very much the same thing. Like if you ever think, I don't remember which movie it is, but the one Austin Powers movie when he's shooting and he's just kind of, and then he goes, I'm not even looking, and like whatever. Like I love it because it's fun, man. Like it, and sometimes in the same regard to like street photography, like sometimes it's like someone's foot, or like, you know, it's like a hand up in the air and you can't see anything else. Like, I don't know. It's fine. And that's where, thank God I'm not a film photographer. Like I think film photography is awesome, but maybe one day when I have money to invest, and I think it's fantastic. And I, in regards to the difference between, you know, something faster paced like concert photography and taking street photography pictures, it's very different for me, and I slow down a lot more when it comes to street photography. And I oftentimes will, you know, just take one picture of something, just because I want it just as it is. And oftentimes, you know, it'll have a subject that's moving, and I want it composed exactly when they step into where the door frame is as I'm looking across the street, or you know what I mean. I see. Oh, I don't know if that peaked, but I see the picture and I want it, and then if I don't get it, then well, that's okay.
That's the creative director in you as well. Speaking of film photography, what I find really fascinating is our good friend Dalton. He shoots film like it's just like a Canon camera. Like he does not care if he's wasting the things. Like,
dude,
I guess
his
shots.
work is beautiful, man. His work is beautiful. You are right. He takes a lot of pictures, absolutely.
Because when I first met him, he was shooting with a Canon, and then he upgraded his Canon to go to Fanshot, I think in 2017. And then he's like, I'm going to do film photography, but I'm going to kind of like take it on. Like I have like infinite supply of photos to take. And I think that really developed him into a film photographer, because as you said, his shots are absolutely stellar.
Absolutely. And that's where like I commend all people who shoot film, and like whether you're someone who picked up a film camera yesterday or has been shooting film for the last 10 years, like it is very cool when you take a picture on film. You are not going to be able to recreate that exact moment ever. And
correct.
And whether it's, you know, whether you take the picture and you realize your friend closed his eyes, or like, you know, but that's kind of what gives it a little bit more character, and I will always commend, like I said, and it is very cool. Digital is just, for me, especially as like a career, is a little bit more practical on the regular, I suppose, because there's plenty of fantastic photographers that do both.
Yes. Comparing, this is honestly my own curiosity's sake, compare shooting for a concert versus shooting on like your day-to-day. Do you have a similar mindset for both, or kind of like a blueprint, or do you take them on both kind of like experimental?
To a degree, I would say, like, concerts, not to call you out, and it's not your fault, because like my page doesn't have a fraction of the pictures that I've taken, and I do plan to, you know, go through my backlog eventually and kind of release stuff as time goes on, just for the sake of it. But what was it? Why did I just lose my train of thought again?
Comparing like the experimental like mindset, like you have an idea when you go out and shoot, or is it kind of just like a...
So concerts, I basically I know what I'm getting into. You had said that I'd done 50 concerts, and it's probably like, well, I guess concerts versus bands taking photos of. Taking photos of is probably like 300, and like in terms of overlaps and stuff, I just mean concerts outright, or like sets outright. But so like I genuinely have the idea of kind of what I'm getting into. Like all venues are going to be different, depending on, you know, the band I'm shooting. Whether I'm shooting at History or I'm shooting at Jimmy Jazz, it's going to vary. Whether I shoot with or without flash, you know, bigger shows typically don't allow flash, so you're forced to shoot without it. Otherwise, you know, I have the option. The show yesterday, I looked around and a lot of photographers were using flash, so I decided not to use flash, just as, you know, as something that was a bit different. And like just for fun, genuinely, just to be like, oh, what do I want to do today, kind of thing. Whereas, you know, shooting street stuff is just, it's all on a whim. I will, like, I'll tell myself like, oh, I'm just gonna like walk downtown for a couple hours, but in terms of where I go or what I take pictures of or whatever, it's genuinely just like whatever happenstance way I decide to go, whatever. I don't believe in fate in a way, but I also do, because like, I don't know, I decided to go away and I saw what I saw because of it. So
yes,
you know what I mean? Like I believe everyone has free will, of course, but whatever I decide to use my free will to do will result in me experiencing what I experience. So it's very different.
I think what I find fascinating, and it kind of goes into my next topic I want to talk to you about, is just about community, and more specifically the community that you and I are both very fortunate to be a part of, being the Guelph artist scene, but kind of like the Southern Ontario artist scene as well. If we want to make it more specific, we'll focus solely on Guelph. I've said it way too many times on the In Your Studio podcast. I am very fortunate and very happy to be a part of such like a creative, driven, and enthusiastic group of people, because my initial thought with them was like, oh my goodness, like they're like this larger than life character, like they're so cool, like I'm terrified to talk to them. It could not be any more of the opposite. Like they are genuinely some of the coolest, nicest, most talented people I've ever met. Sally, Tyler, Hunter, the Excuse Me Lads, Animal Boys, everybody else that like you and I have in common. They're really there to watch everybody shine. That now I look at them as like really good friends. I know they create art, of course, but now they're just like a really good friend. From your perspective, take us back to the beginning of getting involved in like the Guelph scene specifically, and what's it mean to you to be a part of such like an inspiring and incredible group of people that push you to go further?
So like it kind of, the Guelph kind of artistic, creative collective of everyone that's amazingly talented there. Man, that sucks to say there, dude, instead of saying here.
Yeah.
Because I'm living in Kitchener now, which is also a beautiful city, but it kind of just grabbed a hold of me. So going back to like first kind of shows that I shot in terms of concerts, the one that I was mentioning probably would have been one of the first, but it would have been a show at Jimmy Jazz after that Corktown show, and I happened to meet a couple friends outside of Jimmy Jazz, Madeline and Hayden, and we just kind of hit it off in terms of friends and hanging out and stuff. And then I got invited back to their place for like a party that night, and my world, dude, my world just like imploded in terms of people and friends, and it's just like nonstop. Everyone that I spoke to at the party, I don't believe I knew anyone else that was there prior, and so everyone I spoke to was lovely and welcoming, and drinks were shared, and I'm sure there was snacks and whatever. It was like Madeline's very Italian like me, and so very welcome kind of household. And so it was awesome. And they kind of just pulled me into it. I started shooting shows. Jimmy Jazz was having music every Friday, Saturday, and I swear for the first like 3 months of me getting into it, because like I learned so much. The difference between taking pictures of a landscape or a bird or whatnot, like, versus taking pictures at a concert with like shitty lighting, and like, no offense Jimmy Jazz, but the lighting used to be quite poor. They've since upgraded and it's awesome. But yeah, like I wasn't working with the best gear at the time, and not that gear doesn't matter. It's the photographer and the skill and whatnot. But it makes a difference when the lighting sucks.
Yes,
because I wasn't shooting flash. That's another thing, is like a lot of people get into shooting concerts immediately with flash, whereas it's a lot harder to kind of figure out shooting without one. And I kind of just struggled for a long time. And like, if I look at those pictures of that Animal Boys, Strawberry Cough, and whoever else show, like, it was awful. I don't even think you can like tell who people are in the pictures. Maybe it's a vibe. I don't know. Maybe I'll look back at them and I'll try and re-edit them or something. I'm pretty sure they were JPEGs, so like they're hard to edit, and yeah. But
what I love about everybody's first impression of Aiden is always the same. The most welcoming, biggest smile, just wants to know you kind of person honestly, ever. Yeah. And Derek does guitar lessons with him, and like when
nice.
I told Derek, I was like, Aiden should be your teacher for this, and now they connected. Derek came to work the next day. He's like, that guy's just so positive, and I was like,
he's a lovely human. He's a lovely human. I was literally texting him today about doing like working on some stuff with him.
Just like Hayden is one that I'm very fortunate for. Other than Hunter, because we're going to go into great detail about Hunter in a moment.
Sure.
Who have been some of the most like supportive and like inspirational people on your journey? Does not need to stay like Guelph art scene. Like, it could be family members, friends. Like, who really pushes like Stefano to get up the next day and shoot a photo?
You know what? I have a lot of. I'm very grateful. I have a lot of support on all sides. My partner is an amazing partner, incredibly supportive in everything that I do. I have wonderful family and whatnot, tons of great friends. The one thing, I guess, in terms of photography, I would say is I have a lot of really talented photographers around me that are so welcoming, and especially, like I said, while I tried to kind of tackle this beast of concert photography with shitty lighting, these people I could ask questions to and be like, hey, like, how do I tackle this, or how do I do this, or how do I what gear is good, and all that stuff, and all the stuff that I've learned. So yeah, and I have a group chat with a ton of amazing photographers all around Ontario and stuff. So people are always sharing, their new posts and whatnot, and it's With
that, let's go into the main man himself that we just briefly mentioned there, Hunter, because I feel like you and Hunter, to me, are like a Wednesday in Flixo, where when you think of one, you think of the other. So when I think of you, I think of Hunter, and vice versa. It's really cool because you guys go way before anything creative. You guys go way before anything to do with any arts. Everything that you guys do together comes from friendship and like wanting to see each other really just be the best person you can, like really thrive in like your environment. Whether it's shooting the cover for This Is Absurd or being a part of the creative vision, you've watched Hunter flourish into the person that he is today. talk to the FTI community about your relationship with Hunter, or like it could be from a professional side, a personal side, and like the growth you've watched.
Sure. Yeah. I've known Hunter, I suppose, probably since grade 9 high school. I don't know if we would have crossed paths like prior in elementary school and stuff, but yeah, I've watched him, grow as an artist, like exponentially. Like he, from where he was first starting to make music in high school and whatnot to the point he's at now is incredible. And he's always been incredibly talented, but he's really like honed in his sound. And we've often, like when we've been chatting more recently, he's talked about how he's feeling more comfortable in kind of finding his own sound and seeing how that is. And not that means he has to sound a certain way, but yeah, he's kind of figuring out the type of stuff that he's interested in making. And yeah, I couldn't be more happy for him. He's an incredibly talented person. I'm very grateful to have him kind of support me on the side. And he's always coming to me with great ideas in terms of like collaborating together. And like you said, the This Is Absurd album art, he was like, hey, I'm going to go buy a chair from Valley Village. And I have this like picture in my head and these like the red balloons and whatever. He's like, can we just like go find a field and start taking pictures? And yeah, and we just kind of put it together. So yeah, we've known each other for quite some time, and he's honestly incredibly talented, even beyond the musical aspect of things. Excuse me. Even just as a creative and even in terms of videography and stuff, like he's very very talented in all the different things he's getting up to nowadays.
Water shines on the coast, you're waiting, waiting for someone to love you, waiting for someone like me. Oh, the water shines, the back starts to bend and it's breaking for someone to pull you, begging for someone like me.
What's the feeling like seeing your photography be represented on like Spotify, Apple Music, or even just like on like an FTI social too?
It's fantastic. It's always cool to see your work in different places and for different things and whatnot. There's been a number of times where, I've sent pictures to a band. They've made a post with the pictures as per usual. And then just like you said, I'll go on their Spotify to listen to their music, and I'll notice that they changed it to one of the pictures I took or something. And it's nice. It's very cute. And especially like when people make posts or people tell me that their parents loved the pictures or something like that.
That's the highest compliment.
It's really, yeah, it's really sweet. It's really, really sweet. Yeah. So yeah, it always feels good. It always feels good to see my work.
I want to talk about something that I feel like if I were to tell you this in person, you and I would get really red faced, because I find like I think Danielle would agree with this. Like when you and I talk, everybody's around us, but we're really honed in on like us talking. Like
absolutely.
We're logged in.
I feel like yeah, absolutely.
So that really goes to who you are, because you're very like true to yourself, and you approach everything with like this authentic, like open mindset. Again, we've had many conversations where you're just there to listen. The favorite thing that you've also said is your favorite is like when you can like validate someone's feelings, or you can ask them why they think that way, which has helped me on more than one occasion, and I'm sure a lot of others would agree too. Why is it important for you to approach things like, honestly, we'll not even narrow it down to things, just everything, or like you as a person, with such an authentic and open mind? Or better yet, do you even realize that you do it when you're talking to someone?
I get like, I don't know. I am who I am. Like, I guess at the end of the day, I don't like one thing, and like, I don't openly like go around telling people this or anything, but like I truly try to be like the best person that I can be.
Yeah.
And not that, you know, I'm not going to give all my money away and like, you know, be the literal epitome of like selflessness or anything, but I you know, if I have the ability to help or make someone's day better, or you know, I'm a very personable person, so even oftentimes I find just like chatting with someone, like chatting with a retail worker when they're just working their shift, like asking how they're doing, whatever, giving them some banter or something, like it's the little things that kind of feel good, but also it's more important to kind of, you know, help out around you. I also like I firmly believe in karma. So,
Yes.
you know, I think if you're a good person, then good things will come, and in whatever capacity that ends up being. Whether I get an extra chicken nugget or, you know, maybe I'll win $1 million for being a good person one day. We'll see.
It'd be the former for me.
And that's fine. Like, you can't expect anything, right? Dude, chicken nuggets, I'm down.
The one that I love, and I still tell this story to this day, is when you, Dalton, and I went around and like put up like relaunch concert posters, and just like everyday people downtown Guelph were like stopping you at the fountain, and like you knew where you last talked to them. Like you didn't need a second to like remember who they are or what you talked about last. It's like you just put the conversation on pause, went about your life for like a month, came back and continued it, and then you're like, oh yeah, that was like Jim. Like he's a really good guy, and I was just like, this man, I would have to like, all right, this is what we were talking about.
Yeah, like my brain's really weird. I sometimes have the worst memory in the world, but also sometimes I like remember little things like that and whatnot. And yeah, like especially downtown Guelph, like I spent quite a bit of time just walking downtown, going into businesses, like I don't know, doing whatever, meeting people, and yeah, it's always nice to see familiar faces. Yeah. That's nice you remember that. That's very cute.
Man, my mind's an elephant, but me holding a conversation sometimes is not the elephant. This next one, and I think
I'm petting my cat, by the way.
Hell yes. So. I think it has become like the staple question, and everybody's answers, I have taken away something and tried to like incorporate into like my everyday life, whether it's a creator or me just like approaching my day. It's the topic of vulnerability. For you and Jasmine, I really like it because you have to be at the forefront of breaking the ice with clients, with bands, to get them to be vulnerable with you, to get them to like be like, other than doing this for a photo, just be really loose, like really friendly, really charismatic. As a photographer, I am sure that comes with the job, that comes with the territory.
Absolutely.
How does vulnerability affect the way you, like, I guess, approach photography, but also know that you gotta like kind of like maybe take on a new client, or like if you shoot for a band, you really gotta like connect with them?
I think like depending on what you're shooting, there can be different amounts of vulnerability. I try to kind of read people as best I can in terms of their comfortability and maybe what they're more inclined to do, or what they're more inclined to get pictures of, or whatnot. And I've even had, you know, I'll be taking pictures of a band that, you know, I've asked their permission to take the pictures prior, but maybe it was just one band member saying yes and the other one wasn't really as sure. So like sometimes people will just like turn around. They'll be like, I don't want you, and I just read that. That's fine, man. Like that's totally cool and whatnot. And same with, you know, if I'm getting on the stage and stuff like that, some people are comfortable with it, some people aren't. That's totally fine, you know. So just trying to, and so even in terms of different genres of photography, and even to use yourself and Danielle as an example, like I don't know, if I'm doing like a couple shoot, you know, I like to joke around and kind of just like generally, and it all goes back to being friends, but like just generally just like have some conversation and maybe find some common interests to chat about in between poses and whatnot, like whatever people are comfortable with. And even, you know, sometimes you'll have someone who does model or is used to being in front of a camera and they do want to just work. They'd rather just do pose and then pose and then pose and then pose, and that's fine. Like I can do that. And sometimes they're happy to chat, but maybe not while we're shooting, before and after, right? Yeah. So it all differs, and I'm happy to you know, go along with whatever will make the person I'm working with comfortable.
And it's like the silent wins too, like when you can really tell someone's like tense body language versus at the end where you're like shooting the shit for an hour after like the session was done. Because as you said, it all comes back to being friends. So I'm sure there's been so many friendships made from you coming going like, hey, I'm Stefano, I'm going to be the photographer for you tonight, versus, hey, let's go catch a beer next weekend or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. No, it's always very fun getting to know all the people that I work with in all walks of life. And it everything spirals back to that like stupid statement on my Instagram about being a full-time people enjoyer. Because it bodes so well, man. It's so awesome. It's fun. I like it.
To wrap everything up with a bow on the top, these 3 are for you. You're somebody that I feel like you're gonna say one and go like, but there's 50 more I can name as well. So you go off. You could talk 50. You could talk 100. Not limited to one medium. Choose as many as you would like. Put the FTI community onto some new things to check out. Music, film, a photographer.
Check out. Yeah, this is really bad because I'm terrible when people put me on the spot. But just
that's why we keep it till the end.
Yeah. Give me a moment here. Let me think. Because like there's so many people and there's so many different mediums of coolness and stuff.
Who did you see last night?
I saw. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. Thank you, thank you for that. There was Spaced. Spaced is a hardcore band out of Buffalo, New York, and then Reality Denied out of St. Catharines, and then Madball also out of New York. I don't know where specifically, but
2 Americans, 1 Canadian.
Yeah, it was a killer show. It was my first time seeing Spaced and Madball, and like Madball is a very, very well known like old school hardcore band. So it was very cool. I got a shirt downstairs, and this is some of my band shirts.
Every time you do my chair, I'd kind of like peek at what the
I need to do laundry honestly. Like I also need to, because I bought 2 band shirts yesterday. I had to buy another Reality Denied one, and then I bought the Madball one as well.
Dude.
And then I bought this hat, actually, the space hat.
I love that hat. I never told you. I was actually not going to tell you till like the one day, like, I'm like, oh, Stefano's here. Well, you have inspired me to collect band tees from every place I go to. Like, in my closet right here.
Oh, dude.
It's addicting.
It's it's so addicting. It is. Yeah. I'll be honest, like I have band shirts from bands that I saw once and maybe don't even really listen to, but it's more about, at least for me, it's more about just like supporting local music or not local music, whatever. You know, if a touring band comes, they need to pay for everything, getting around and whatever, right? So I don't go to and like, well, actually, oh, that's so crazy. Okay, I'll say I don't normally go to like big shows. But I can't say that because next week I'm going to Kendrick. So that's June. It is. Yeah. So I can't say that. But typically I don't really go to big shows. So it's nice to, you know, buy a shirt for $20, you know, pay for their gas home or whatever it is.
And that goes so much farther than just a t-shirt. Like goes so much. Yeah.
I feel like I should shout out more people.
Yeah, I was gonna say this next one is soloing it into one independent artist or collective.
One independent artist. Bummer Records. Bummer Records is fucking cool. I don't want to curse too much. Family friendly is the way to go. I'll curse in person when I'm not being recorded. Even though I already did. But Bummer Records, all the guys that run Bummer Records are super cool. supported me super early on in terms of my band stuff. And yeah, you should check them out. You should check out any bands that are affiliated. You should check out ZBFTD.
Yes.
And yeah, all of the stuff going on in Brantford is sick. So many good hardcore bands. I feel like I just shouldn't call out any because I don't want to, or else I'll have to say like 50. But just go listen to local music, support local musicians. If you see a concert going on and you've never heard them before, that's the best reason to go.
It is always the best reason to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, eat your vegetables. Oh, I don't know why I'm signing this off for you. Sorry.
Dude,
no, go ahead. Do you have more to say? I'm sorry.
Just one more. It
No
is
worries.
the hardest question. You're gonna nail it. Plug yourself, where people can find you, how they can get in contact with you.
What up?
What
My
up?
name's Stefano.
That's
Hometown
Stefano.
shooter. 26 years old. You can find me at Hometown Shooter with zeros in the O's of shooter. Wow, that's really
Not of
that's super
hometown.
confusing. Just type in hometown and hopefully it comes up, I guess. Otherwise, you can catch me at your local concert. You can catch me at Hillside, which I haven't bought my ticket for, so I'm going to pay more than I need to because I'm stupid. But that's fine because it's the best. And you can find me at insert something about something funny.
Pokemon Go Community Day
Ooh.
at Riverside.
When's that? That's coming up?
I couldn't even tell you.
It's probably in my calendar. Isn't that? I think it's August. No, that's Pokemon Go Fest. I think Go Fest is in August.
The weekend. Yeah, I know Brandon will be doing that.
Yeah.
FTI community. This is essentially what you would see if you saw Stefano and I in a room, and now it's out there for the world to listen to, for the world to see.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to send this up.
Dude, that's yeah. We both love you.
So
Eat your
much.
vegetables.
Yep.
Be a good person. Help a grandma walk across the street if you see her struggling.
And I hope we get
Pick
back
up
the other
nails
way.
in the road. And if you have animals, you better treat them well, or I will find you.
And he will swear at you.
And I will curse bad words.
FTI community. This wraps up Stefano's Creator of the Week. I hope everybody has a great day
Thanks for
ahead, a
having
great
me.
weekend ahead. Hell yes. Hell yes. And I will catch
Kisses.
everybody on Monday. Kiss, kiss. Goodbye.